Thank you so much, Mayor. Really appreciate you very much. We appreciate everybody in this room. This is a very, very choice place to live in the great state of Texas. And I'm very proud to be representing the 36th Congressional District, which I think is the best, most diverse, most prosperous congressional district in the whole United States of America. I really and firmly believe that. I'm up here to kind of give you an update on what's going on in Washington, the good and the bad and the ugly. I had the privilege of meeting Coach Lou Holtz one time, who gave me a piece of advice. The famous Lou Holtz from Arkansas and Notre Dame, and he said, it's not really a good idea to tell people your problems. He said, because 90% of the people don't really care if you're having problems. The other 10% are kind of glad you're having those problems. That's kind of the way it works up in Washington, D.C. I always get really a big charge coming to have an opportunity to speak to you folks here in Baytown. And as a small business owner myself, as a private practitioner for 35 years and former director and vice president of the Tyler County Chamber of Commerce, I know the importance of the chamber in promoting the business and the community, making sure that the city of Baytown continues to be a great place to live, to work. Just want to touch on a few issues that we're working with up in Congress. Number one, ports and infrastructure and highways. So important to Harris County and really to this entire district, especially Baytown, to our great state and to the country as a whole. Because let me tell you something. What goes on down here at the Port of Houston and East Texas, Southeast Texas, and Houston, that has a great effect upon the economy of this entire nation. You don't believe me? Look at the way gas prices spiked after just a few days of the port being shut down and all these plants being flooded. Not all of them, some of them were, when Hurricane Harvey hit us. And so people up in Wichita, Kansas, places like this, wonder, why in the heck is my gasoline going up 40 cents? Well, that's why, because it was disrupted right down here. That's why it's so important that we protect this infrastructure. And that's why it's so important that we really look hard at this coastal span and at storm surge protection. I'm very hopeful that the Democrats on the other side of the aisle, my colleagues, will acknowledge the need for a strong infrastructure package and come to the table to talk and work with us. There are many crucial infrastructure projects right here in Southeast Texas that need to be worked on and to be accomplished. And one of the big issues that I've been working on in Washington is the need to fix, to dredge, to maintain a strong port infrastructure. It is critical that we not only dredge our ports, but once we get the job done, we've got to maintain them. And I met with, just recently with Secretary R.D. James of the Corps of Engineers just a couple of weeks ago to stress the importance of the issue of dredging and widening the Houston Ship Channel. This is of the utmost importance to get this project completed. And I know this is a huge issue with one of the port commissioners, former Mayor Stephen Don Carlos, of great significance to him, and I think he served at least 6 years, right? 6 years. We have a situation out there where we've got a 52, 53 mile long ship channel, and we also have, it's narrow compared to many, many other ports in this country. And this is the busiest port in the United States right now. It is the busiest port. We get one of our big container ships coming upstream, then we have to shut that ship channel down to one-way. It becomes, instead of two-way, it goes to one-way traffic. And so the way you solve this problem, folks, is by widening 530 foot wide to about 700 feet wide. Then you don't have to worry about that. And so we're working extremely hard to see if we can get that project off the ground. I was also able to talk to Secretary James about Cedar Bayou. Cedar Bayou will have a tremendous and significant impact, not only on Texas, but the whole country as well. And the project, I think, is already, we're really getting it off the ground. It's happening. We got $9.6 million for what we call New Start money, and the Core Cedar Bayou Navigation District will be signing the project partnership agreement this month. And this is the guiding project document that lays out the responsibilities of what the federal government and the non-federal sponsor. The Corps is currently finishing up engineering and design to award the first construction contract, I might add. And as you know, I hate to blow my horn, but our office was very instrumental in securing this $9.6 million in the fiscal year 2019 Army Corps of Engineers budget, their work plan. I expect to see this project awarded by November. In order to fully complete the project, we will need to secure roughly $31 million more, which hopefully will be included in the fiscal year 2020 work plan and the President's 2021 budget. I will continue, you have my word, I will continue working very diligently to secure full funding and get this project completed as soon as possible. It couldn't be any more important. Is there anybody in here from Covestro? This is a big project that Covestro is going to be helping out as well as one of the private sources. We really appreciate them. Additionally, as the committee, the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee that I'm honored to serve on, I'm working on a highway bill. I'm working on getting vital highway and interstate systems established right here in Texas, coming right through our district. When I was a freshman, I was able to, I think with good staff work, it was just proper timing, maybe not anything that I did specifically, but I tell you, we worked real hard on it. We got, as a freshman, we got a new interstate I-14 authorized to come right through the state of Texas, which was started out in Fort Bliss, Texas. We call it the Forts to Ports Highway. It starts at Fort Bliss, Texas, and hopefully when it's all over, we will have it all the way out to Fort Gordon, Georgia. Unfortunately, that area is probably going to get whacked here in the next 24 hours by Hurricane Dorian. But we have it authorized across the state of Texas, and the current bill that we're trying to get through the House right now and the Senate is to have it authorized through Louisiana, Mississippi. Next time we'll have it through Alabama and Georgia. That will be complete our authorization. Still need to get it funded. We need it funded. But they call it Forts to Ports because there are so many military installations along that highway. It's basically Highway 190 across the state of Texas. It kind of goes across up north of us through my district. And it truly will be force to ports. We'll have some spurs coming off of it, which will take men and material and private commerce as well, military and private, down to these ports, these very important ports. And then now let's talk about chemical safety. As all of you know, here in this room, we've had a few incidents at some of our plants in this area. I want to first commend ExxonMobil. Where's the ExxonMobil tape? Right here, right in front of me. I want to commend you on doing a tremendous job of keeping in contact with our office and keeping us up to date during some of these incidents. I've had many conversations with the administration about these accidents and about making sure that we're taking every step necessary to protect all of the communities and the employees at these plants. I've had many conversations with discussing with both government and business leaders to have all the tools and the resources necessary to have the strongest and safest industry as possible. I have the distinct honor and privilege, Maze, to represent more petrochemical refining facilities than any other district, not only in the United States of America, but also in the world. We have more petrochemical refining facilities than any other place in the entire globe, Maze. It's a very proud thing to have, and tens of thousands of people are hired in great jobs with an average salary down here of $100,000, even without a 4-year college degree. I don't know whether you folks know it because you're living in it, but this is a great place to live. Isn't that right, Chad? So, I want to talk about trade. No district. My friend Randy Weber, who has District 14 and my district, the 36, no two districts in Texas have any more international trade than our two districts. So important. The updated NAFTA treaty. NAFTA was enacted in 1994. It was old, it was outdated, and I'm really proud of the Trump administration and his negotiators who have come up with a new USMCA, the United States, Mexico, and Canada treaty, which is going to have key steps in achieving a huge win for the U.S. economy in this new treaty and new agreement, with so much of this industry that does rely on foreign trade. No district, no state will benefit any more from the USMCA agreement than right here in the 36th district in the state of Texas. The USMCA reforms and it strengthens nearly every component in our export process. It ensures that workers can do their jobs safely. And it certifies that buyers and sellers are getting the very best deals that are possible. And this trade agreement also includes the most comprehensive set of environmental protections seen in any American trade deal in history. It improves air quality, enforces marine protections, cooperation. It implements sustainable practices in a fair and equitable way among all three of these nations. As you know, Mexico is Texas's biggest trading partner. All we need is an up or down vote in the United States Congress, which almost all agree would deliver the support needed to get the votes and have it signed into law by President Trump and help to work to help American businesses and families. But that vote simply cannot happen until Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, will bring it up. We know the votes are there. She maintains that there are some things that she wants to go back and tweak and change and rework the agreement after months and months of negotiation. And that is not the rules. The rules state that it's an up or down vote. We cannot go back and rework the treaty. And so we need to get Mrs. Pelosi to, she controls the agenda in the House of Representatives where I serve, and so that's what has to happen. I voted for trade promotional authority for President Obama when he was in office. And I took a lot of heat for that as well. But I knew that in my particular district, trade is an important, a huge, significant part of our economy. And now that we got a Republican president in there, I'm sorry, we don't get to go back and rework the rules. So we need to get this thing brought up. It's very, very important. And I want to thank President Trump and his administration that we have this opportunity to move forward with the strongest trade deal that we have ever had with these countries. And it is high time that we pass USMCA. I want to talk also about regulatory bureaucracy. Regulations have long been hugely burdensome to the industry, especially to the petrochemical industry. And I'm very pleased that we have an administration that seems to understand this, and who I know, and my staff know, and can reach on the phone to express your ideas and concerns as we hear from you, our constituents. Much of the economic boom that we are enjoying is due to deregulation, as much as it is to the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that we passed last session. And our economy, frankly, folks, except for a few hiccups and a roller coaster ride at the New York Stock Exchange, seems to be enjoying a great ride. Our economy is doing well. Unemployment is at 3.8%, which continues a streak of historic lows. This is the lowest unemployment that we've had in this country in over 50 years. The minority unemployment, blacks, Hispanics, Asians, women, still can't figure out why women are considered a minority. There's more y'all than there are men, so, but that's the way it is. All of those have the lowest unemployment rate in the history of this country. I think that's stunning. More Americans are working today than at any time in our nation's history. In addition, wage growth has increased since President Trump was sworn into office, with the average hourly worker earning 3% more this year than they were last year. We've created 4.7 million jobs in the first 2 years of the Trump administration. This is a 3.1% increase over the numbers at the end of the previous president's term. We have added 224,000 jobs just in the month of June. The economy has only to add 150,000 more new jobs to continue this expansion that we've been enjoying. So it's important and evident that the economy continues to run very smoothly. It's kind of amusing to see the mainstream media that now is predicting we're going into a recession. Have y'all been noticing this? We keep reading that we're heading into a recession. And I wonder, I can't help but wonder that if the media and some of our colleagues across the aisle may be even hoping that we go into a recession to get some political advantages. I'm not saying that's happening, but it sure seems like that when we hear and look at the we see all these statistics and numbers, and yet we're being told that we may be heading into a recession. Also, with all the police folks in here from Chambers and Harris County, and somebody mentioned a while ago, I think it was you, that said that they wanted to thank our first responders. I want to thank you. We had a heck of a hurricane, back when Hurricane Harvey hit, and our first responders, whether you be a police officer or whether you're in the fire department, EMS, or just somebody who really stepped forward, I want to thank you so very much. But really, as we see these terrible, tragic mass shootings and killings that are happening now on a routine basis, it's something that it just stuns me to think that this country has gotten into a situation where we seem to see these every week. Can't understand that. And I have a bill called the TAPS Act, or H.R. 838. The TAPS Act is the most bipartisan bill that would help solve the terrible plague of these tragic mass murders that have been becoming routine. It uses the behavioral threat assessment method, which is a 35 to 40-year-old process that was developed by the U.S. Secret Service after the Parkland, Florida shooting, where we had the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. The shooter was a high schooler that he had 39 run-ins, Chief, with his local police department. 3, I think, with the FBI. His school district shuffled this kid back and forth. He would introduce himself as, "Hey, I'm Nick, the school shooter," before it all happened. The dots were not connected, and tragically, he blew away a lot of his fellow students and others as well. So TAPS is nothing but a training and grant program. Now, my bill is just a training grant program that will get this great method, the behavioral threat assessment method, into the hands of schools, of workplace environments, of law enforcement, and also into mental health professionals' hands, so that they can connect these dots. I want to say that I would dare say to everybody sitting in this room, if you had a child or a grandchild that was going to school, I have 16 grandchildren. When I'm home, I like taking them to school. I like to pick them up from school too. And can you imagine taking your grandchild or your child and not knowing that there's someone that's repeatedly been threatening to shoot the school up and kill everybody? I think you would want to know that somebody was paying attention to that. And so this is why I think it's so important. I have a bill, this bill, H.R. 838, has roughly 124 co-sponsors, almost perfectly divided between Democrats and Republicans. Buddy, that's a stunning statement to be able to say that you have a bill that is that bipartisan, that if it would come out of the Judiciary Committee, if Chairman Jerry Nadler from New York would bring this to the floor of the House and get it marked up in his committee, and Ms. Pelosi could bring it to the floor of the House, we can pass this bill and start saving lives immediately. And so that's why I think it's so very, very important that we work together. This is a great instance of what we can do when we work together. Our entire system of government is supposed to be an exchange of ideas. Maybe different ideas, but find a way that you can work across the aisle. The American people expect us to take care of this situation. The knee-jerk reaction after every school shooting, that on the Democrat side, they want to take away your guns. They want to outlaw certain types of guns. They want universal background checks. They want this. They want that. The Republicans want to arm the school. All the administrators want to arm the teachers. And have metal detectors sitting at the doorways. The shootings don't have to occur. It doesn't have to be a shooting. It can be a weaponized vehicle. It can take place outside the school, in the work environment. I had a horrible workplace shooting up in Cleveland just a few weeks ago. I have a deputy sheriff who is now paralyzed because of that. And so, time to do something. Time to work across the aisle. So I want to tell you that I understand the importance of all these issues, especially the commercial, the industrial issues, and the industries that are represented right here in Baytown and their impact on our great state, the Lone Star State, to this country's economy and the health and well-being of our citizens. I'm very, very honored to be serving you, and I'm right here and now, I'm going to invite everyone in this room. Please, if you haven't been to Washington, D.C. to come see your nation's capital, please do so. Let us know. Reach out to my staff. I've got a number of staffers right here. I've got Will Carter. Raise your hand, Will. We have Rachel Iglesias. She's right here as well. And Kelly Waterman, are you in here? Our district director is not in here. But reach out to us. Reach out to us. Tell us when you're coming up. We will give you a tour of your beautiful capital. And I can tell you, a lot of people, I'm looking at some folks around this room who have been up many times, and the mayor came up for our swearing in 5 years ago. Can you believe it's been 5 years? Unbelievable. But I'm honored and privileged to be representing everybody in this room, in this great district. And, it's your capital. Come see it. It's your government. I'm your representative. I serve in the people's house. You're the people. We want to hear what you're thinking. We want to hear what your concerns are. If you're having a problem with the VA or with the Social Security or with any of the federal agencies, any problem, let us know. I can't promise you that our storm relief. I can't promise you results, but I can tell you that you will have someone that will be in your corner working extremely hard. We've helped hundreds and hundreds of people doing just that. So thank you so very much. I'm honored to be here. Come see us. And with that, I just say God bless you. God bless America. Thank you.